job, Larry. I don't have any products to talk to you about. But I have to tell you about why I'm here, how it evolved. And last Friday night, Tom Hemmerly caught me at number 9 Steakhouse. And Tom said, I'm going to be in Indianapolis on Tuesday night, and could you cover for me? I'm supposed to be speaking at the Million Cup meeting and talk about my business, and would you do that and take my place? And I said, you know, I'll do anything to help a friend. And then Marion calls me yesterday morning and says, you'll be there, won't you? Sure, I'll be there. And what do I do? And she just said, well, talk about your business and, you know, history and what you like and don't like. And it's very informative and be fine. So anyway, I said, okay, I can do that. And I go next to the next office, give them a partner of ours, and said, I'm going to the Million Cup meeting in the morning to talk about our business. And Skip says, oh, you can't do that. And there's professional speakers with PowerPoint presentations. And you're not prepared, and you just don't need to do that. So I kind of go back to my office and think, gosh, I'm committed. I've talked to Marion, Tom, I can't let those people down. So anyway, then I go to the bank, First United, and see 3 minutes. Okay. Jason Hopkins, he says the same thing, PowerPoint and all this. And shoot, I think Marion should have bought a bond because I was a flight risk last night. But anyway, my grandfather started the business in 1918, and we have a plaque in our office from the Aetna Insurance Company that it's like, congratulations, 50 years of service, and it was done in March of 1968. And so I thought it would be interesting to bring a policy that he wrote. And I'm not going to read you policies in 1922 and current ones, but this one was real interesting. It was written on a 1922 Ford Coupe. The amount of insurance was $500. The rate was $1.50. Premium was $5.50 a year. We've had inflation since. And what was interesting, the perils insured against. Now, this is a personal auto policy. Fire, lightning, while being transported by conveyance, and theft and robbery. That's all. Okay. That's all that is on here. Number of cylinders, factory serial number, body type, trade name. So anyway, that's how he did business. Probably an application on a napkin, and here's the policy. Okay, so he, our niche was in the coal mining back then. He wrote a couple of small companies called Peabody and Island Creek. And that's how, that was the niche then. And my father and uncle came in the 1960s, and coal mining was still their niche. And then I call it the silver spoon generation, my brother, I, and cousin. And we had a nice insurance agency with accounts, and we just needed to manage that to keep it going. So as the coal mining has gone down, when I say it's gone down, family-owned coal business, that's what we got to insure. The Peabody's, Island Creek got so big they became self-insured. And so as the coal mining has gone down, we hired a partner in Draftsville, Kentucky, that expertise is the marina business. So as coal has gone down, marinas have gone up, and we have not lost business with that transition. So I thought, since, and I don't have much time, but with that policy and now today's time, how insurance has evolved. We've evolved from coal to marinas, and so for instance, a personal auto account, you need date of birth, serial, a driver's license, serial numbers, socials, phone numbers, previous carriers, liability limits, deductibles.
Dog's name?
Yeah.
We done? Sorry.
It's time, but you can finish your sentence.
Okay, so for instance, it's gotten very complicated. You don't do an application on a napkin. They check MBRs, what they call clues reports, all previous claims, insurance scores, which is really a credit score. I don't care much for that, but they do it anyway. And so it's not so easy to get a quote anymore. So anyway, that's kind of where we are and where we've been. And I guess any questions? I know there'll be questions.
I have one. Do you still have the Model A policy?
No, it's gone.
My question, what's really interesting to me is it's a heritage company that's almost 100 years old. I mean, you're 96 right now. You don't look 96, by the way. And the thing that's interesting is you take family generations and you go 1, 2, 3 generations, and then you've got the 4th generation also working with you now. So you know that the insurance market is changing in that it's dynamically different today than it was 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago. What do you see having to change going forward? Because you have responded to the market and the needs and changes in the past. So what are you looking forward to change now to guarantee your grandchildren are able to take over the business at some point?
Yeah, and that's real important to evolve with the times. Things do change, and I don't know, I see it, the computer and identity theft and all that, I think is a up and coming hazard, and it should be addressed by insurance companies, and they're getting into that right now. So I think that'll be the next big thing, and what we'll need to do is find the right market, that's the best at that kind of insurance.
How has insurance and online insurance affected your business?
I don't think it's affected it much. Of course, they're a competitor, but what we think an agent is just so important, and that's what part of the things that I like about it is relationships with companies and clients, and our job is to shop for the client to get the best company at the best rate. So e-insurance, we see a lot of those with claimants, and they're running around with minimum limits of liability, $25,000, and for bodily injury, and it doesn't take much car wreck to get that, and they don't know what they're buying. So I think it's important to have an agent.
I think I called insurance one time. It just freaked me out. I was like, no, where are you? It's like in Iowa or something. I was thinking his name is Robert, but he sounds like he's from India. It's probably really accurate. So I like that.
What's the most unusual policy you've written? Or the most unusual thing you've insured, or?
Well, I've got one thing that comes to mind was a person that built a belt line for a coal company, and he thought, okay, if I'm spending all this money on the belt line, what if that coal company floods out? What will happen to my belt line? It's gone. So what he was looking for was contingent liability for if that coal mine goes under, I want to cover my belt line for the loss of income. So it gets pretty interesting.
I have my hands insured, and I'm a massage therapist, and I have my hands insured, so I know people, and I have to do that through another company, if something happens to me, if I get hurt, that I'm able to,
We did do some to that line of business. We kind of branched out, and it didn't do real well, but we tried. We had this person that had expertise with the NCAA coaches and agents, and they were insuring these college athletes for disability, insuring their future contract. And it was interesting, alumni can't give that player $10,000 premium because that's against NCAA rules. But so what they did, they wrote the policy and deferred the premium until they got their contract. And anyway, that.
So you all don't do that anymore, do people still do that?
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
That's done, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I know.
That's you have to be in with the agents. And we thought we were.
Okay.
We weren't. Any other questions?
I have a comment. I have some insurance with Riddle, and I tell you, they are an excellent company to work with, and they insure some non-rental properties, and when you go in there, it's like, oh, welcome, you know, and you really feel like you're important too.
Thanks so much. Service is what my grandfather taught me. You know, he said, you know, don't worry about your competitors. You can't do a thing about that, but you can worry about yourself and how you treat your customers, and word of mouth is the best advertising. So that's what we were taught, and we continue that. We better.
Is yours primarily casualty, or do you do individual life insurance and things like that?
We do everything, life, health. I'm not licensed for that. I'm strictly property and casualty, but we do the medical, life insurance, property, casualty, everything.
Does the downturn in the economy, and now my dad was a New York life agent for a lot of years. I never picked up on that. It was just, that's a concept, and it's hard for me to imagine selling somebody a concept of insurance. You can't touch it and fix it and all that. But what he noticed is when people ran short of money, the first thing they quit paying was their life insurance premium. And do you run into that also, as far as when it's a choice for the dollars, insurance company loses?
Yeah, absolutely. Another part to that is a lot of commercial insurance is the premium is rated on an exposure, and like it's either done on payroll or sales. And as those sales go down, premiums go down. So yeah, we're directly affected by the economy, and that's why it's good to be trying to insure those pieces of business that are doing well.
I would see that also then as a clue to the health of a business, because the insurance, that if you're not paying your insurance premiums, you're probably not paying some other people too. But I would think the insurance premiums would be the first that get cut off, as in delinquent or something like that, and that would be an indication of the health of a business.
Right. Yeah, and that's, I said, I don't like the credit scores and in insurance. I just can't go to you and say your premium just increased because your credit score, you know, went up or that what, you know.
But put yourself in the insurance company's business, the one that are accepting that liability. That's good information to have.
I argued that fact to an insurance company, and they pulled out a spreadsheet, and it was unbelievable. And let's say 1 is the best and 10 is the worst. And they call it insurance score. It's credit score and claims. And those good credit ratings, the 1s and 2s, the line was going, you know, their break even was up here. So it was way below the break even. They were making a good profit on the low ones. Then as you got to about a 5, you started seeing the lines start going up. And when you got to an 8 or 9, it was just, it just was kind of steady, but then it shot straight up. And they say that's why that insurance score is so important to us. And I didn't have much to say. I started understanding then. But we did have one person to come in and wanted to borrow some money. A friend of Skip's borrowed some money for lunch. And they said, well, what is his credit score? And it was a 1, the best. So that's why we
That's
went up.
why.
Exactly. That's why we went up there arguing about that, and we understood after we saw that graph. So,
You said you've been fortunate in the economic downturn to not lose a large portion of your business, you know, and to diversify the different product lines that you offer has helped as well. What percentage do you believe has helped you in maintaining that book of business and growing that book of business by being participatory in community events? I mean, Riddle is like a #1 supporter of so many programs, not only with monetary cash, but with time and your effort and stuff. You know, skipping the balloon, going down the Main Street during the Veterans Parade. You know, those things make a huge impact on people that are looking to purchase something or do something locally.
appreciate that. The balloon thing was interesting. I remember where Tom was in Indianapolis. I was coming home from Indianapolis flying. This was years ago. And we went over the city of Owensboro. I looked down and saw a hot air balloon. And I thought that was the time an insurance company gave us 1% of our volume for advertising. And I just thought, hey, we've been here since 1918. Who has their business with us, wants it, and who doesn't. So what is me on the radio or newspaper going to do? And I thought, but shoot, people will look at that balloon, that we don't have any of those. So plus it's a lot of fun. So we did that, and we got Cigna to pay for half of it.
And the Internal Revenue Service gets to share in the cost of that balloon.
They do, I'm sure. But it's a lot of fun. So and it's good advertising, I guess.
So you would recommend other companies doing that, people on any level if they can participate in local events and get out there and do what they can?
Absolutely. Yeah, you can't just sit in your office and not do anything. You've got to get out and talk to people and things like this. With all those questions in the beginning, I thought, shoot, if we ever have any important decisions, I'm coming here.
Write that one down.
Any others?
What communities are you in now? Don't you have multiple offices now?
We're in Draftsville with Ray Margie with the marina business, and he's a professional fisherman, insurance agent, what have you. But I mean, he is around the marinas, and we write marinas all over the southeast U.S. So thank goodness for Ray.
With, people talking about you being a local company and competing against the ones that, are just like national, and what do you wish that more people knew about you all? What do you want us to go out and say? Maybe is there a misconception? Because I think of kind of like the example of like a travel agent versus going online and buying your own airline tickets, so something like that. Is there something that people that don't know you all?
Well, it's back to like the question of the e-marketing. One example to that, the national markets, when you have a problem, who do you call? You listen to the recording for hours and pushing the buttons, and you don't have to do that locally. You can come in and talk to somebody, and that's just so important. One good example, back in the ice storm, we insured a homeowner, and he called and said, well, I had 2 miles of power line down. Oh my gosh, that's the worst thing. Your heart just falls. We insure your house. Don't know about a power line, $100,000. Well, we got researched the policy, and the only thing I could find prepared him for it not being covered, which that's not very fun. But I found outdoor fixtures was an insurance to the home. I take that as an outside gas lamp, not a $100,000 power line. So we turned that in, and lo and behold, there was some case years ago that power line was considered an outdoor. So
Good for you. Yay. You're the
so
hero.
that's why, that was the worst thing at first and the best thing in the end. But I can't see you getting that covered through an online carrier. Work to figure that one out. So that would be an example. Well, I sure appreciate being here and
Good job.
Well, I want to tell you, thank you for coming today. We did not need a PowerPoint, it was all good. Well, thank you guys for coming to On the In-Touch. Next week is Thanksgiving. I know it's difficult to understand that even when we have snow and ice on the ground, but next week is Thanksgiving, so we will not be meeting on Thanksgiving week. We're also not meeting Christmas week and New Year's week because Christmas Eve is on a Wednesday and New Year's Eve is on a Wednesday. So put that in your calendar. We have got two great presenters who've come here multiple times next week. Amanda's is going to be here and Blaze is going to be here. Huh?
Not this next week.
The week after Thanksgiving.
Third.
And then the week of the 10th, I believe we have Jake Thornberry coming, and then Martin Struthers coming and to talk about his business. So Tom Hammerlin will be here. So let us know if there's anybody that you think is interested that you'd like to hear or see, and we'll get in touch with them if need be. And then also follow us on Facebook and get people in here telling you what great fun we have. What?
Can I make a comment?
Absolutely.
And it's, you know, when I come to these things, every time that I come, and the entrepreneurs and people who want to be people who support local businesses, Larry, like you heard, there's people who want you to succeed. That's what people want. I mean, that's what we're here for, self-success and success for others. Segue into that picture behind you. That building, that Dublin building right there,